Eligibility issues, again, were very important, and a lot of it's about reframing. And I'm new to the work of working with the ex-offender population, those that have been formerly incarcerated, but it's my understanding that there is some stigma attached, but also there have been some real limitations to folks that maybe had violent crimes in the past, but have done their time, so to speak, and have become model citizens, but by virtue of their label as a violent offender, they are prevented in many ways from participating in a variety of opportunities. So we encourage them to frame that differently and to find meaningful reentry opportunities for both types of ex-offenders. Encouraging the programs that submit to the funding mechanism or the funding source that operate as a broad partnership is really, really critical, not an isolated program, but one that is embedded in the economic and community development investment strategies of a region was strongly encouraged by the work group. And it's very clear that those that are the most effective around the country, there's one out in LA, it's embedded in a very comprehensive strategy for the region. Also, just definition of what transitional jobs mean, that it expands to include this idea of social enterprise, but also interns and co-ops and on-the-job training programs. Again, the definition that we saw was fairly limited. And this whole idea of raising the bar, you talked about the importance of standards. Just raising the bar in terms of our overall environmental literacy understanding, that we all have an understanding, just as you kind of interjected, oh, and by the way, it's going to help us with climate change. We need to understand that, because this is a transformational shift we're talking about in terms of our economy, and it's going to require individual and organizational change on multiple levels. And so raising the bar in terms of all of our awareness is, I think, critical. So I try to do that fast. But.
Okay. I know that we're going to go to some questions from the audience. I don't know if Carl, if you had any closing thoughts about policy that haven't been mentioned by the others, or if we should move to audience questions.
Well, just real quick, with the stimulus discussion that's going on right now, and the concentration, the focus on creating jobs, I would just recommend to Governor Strickland and to President Obama that they continue down that path, that creating jobs is good for our economy, putting people back to work and giving them the dignity to employ themselves and feed their family is absolutely critical, absolutely critical.
Okay, today at the City Club, we're listening to a special program with Courtney DeOreo, consultant for Tri-Cities Pathways to Green Jobs, Dave Rinebolt, Executive Director of Ohio Partners for Affordable Energy, and Carl Scheutzow, CEO of Mariner Energy Systems, LLC, IBW Certified Electrician, and Certified Solar Installer and Trainer. The discussion is being moderated by Amy Hanauer, Executive Director of Policy Matters Ohio. In a moment, we'll return to the panel for traditional City Club questions. We encourage you to formulate questions now while we break for a few announcements. We welcome all of you here, especially those of you who are our guests. We hope you'll join the City Club and become active in our ongoing civic dialogue. We're pleased to welcome to our forum today students who are here as part of our City Club student program. Participation of these students is made possible by a generous contribution to the City Club from the First Energy Foundation. With us today are students from John Adams High School. Will the students please stand to be recognized? No? Okay. We're pleased to welcome guests also at a table hosted by Policy Matters Ohio. Thanks for joining us today. This Friday, May 1st, in partnership with the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association and in celebration of Law Day, the City Club welcomes Cindy Cohn, who will discuss Your World Delivered to the NSA, Warrantless Domestic Wiretapping. On Thursday, May 14th, the City Club will host Maria Rosa Menokau, Director of the Whitney Humanities Center at Yale University. For more information about our programs, to make reservations, or to order a tape of today's program, please call the City Club at 888-223-6786 or 216-621-0082. Or visit our website at cityclub.org. Now, we'd like to return to our panelists for the traditional City Club question and answer period. We welcome questions from everyone, including guests. Holding the microphones today are Ellie Sullivan and Patty Quinones. First question?
Good afternoon. A question is for Dave. What we've heard a lot about is high-quality jobs, and particularly the IBEW jobs, which are understood to be high-quality jobs. You talked about the 600 or so people who are working in the weatherization project. And obviously the ticket to good jobs historically in our country has been through unions. And my question to you is, I'm assuming that the workers you're talking about are non-union, so that would be question number one, whether they're union or not. And if they're not, who's their employer? So if a union wanted to organize them and meet with them, are they all employed by one organization? Are they employed by 60 different nonprofits? Or I'm trying to understand what their employment situation is, so that if they wanted to try to make sure to do something themselves collectively to improve their wages so that they would be high-wage jobs, how would they go at that?
We are currently, as a network, not unionized. The employers are community-based nonprofits, community action agencies, and I will say in our defense that we offer health benefits, we offer retirement benefits, we believe in a living wage for a job. Our pay scales, however, as a social service agencies, have traditionally been relatively low. And I think that will change as we roll out the green jobs bandwagon. But I think you also need to look more broadly at the types of jobs that are created through the spin-offs. In Delphus, Crendel is making insulation blower machines. We've got relatively highly skilled jobs making blower doors, which are one of our pieces of diagnostic equipment. We've already bought 120 new trucks that we'll be putting on the road with all the equipment, generators, and all those related types of materials that indeed come from more traditional industries where we like to think that the pay scale is a living wage with decent benefits. I see over time, especially in the residential small commercial efficiency field, that increased funding from utility ratepayers in order to meet the emissions standards and the standards that we've put into law will be just the competitive pressures to achieve that will ultimately raise wages. So it won't be like the highest paid folks in our agencies who are the highest paid because they've been there for 30 years. I think the competition will raise the level, and we look forward to that. We want to hire and train and mentor folks and spin them off and see them make a living either through small businesses of their own or through high-quality jobs.
You need the customer, and one of the reasons that the customer doesn't go in for some of this green stuff is that the startup costs are so high. In California, a man realized this, and he got various customers to promise to take on these solar panels, and in his case, and stay with them for 10 years at a fixed cost per month that they would be paying, which ended up being less than they were currently paying. I was wondering if anything has been done along these lines, and with the present economic situation, how it would fly.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
I can address that as Mariner Energy Systems and also as the IBEW. I was involved in a conference yesterday with the State School Facilities Commission. There's a piece of legislation getting ready to come out, be House Bill 113, our Solar Ready Schools initiative. And in that discussion yesterday, there were a number of power purchasing agreement discussions taking place.